Hello, and welcome to the fourth episode of Library in a Nutshell. Today, I'm going to discuss about the school library. So, let's get started, shall we? So, what is the school library? School library, it is a library regardless of both a private or public, elementary, or secondary school that serves the information needs of its students and the needs of its teachers and staff, and it's managed by a school library media specialist. So that is a school library. So what are the factors of a school library? Provides information, ideas, and to become better citizens. So what are the missions of a school library? There are three: community, staff, and social media. So that is the missions of the school library. Next, what are the standards of the school library? Uh, Mission of the library, goals of the library, funding, legislation and networks, staff, and operation management. Then, the functions of a school library, there are four of them: informational, educational, cultural, and recreational. So, that's the brief description about the school library. Let's move on to the history of the school library. The the history of the school library starts in 1714 when Benjamin Franklin recommended that the school libraries as a key. If you know Benjamin Franklin, he's the guy who holds a kite with a key in between, and he discovers electricity. Then, as centuries passed, in 1920, Carl Casper Certain, which is the father of the school library, produced the standards of the school library. And as the 20th century progressed, the school libraries are now in common place. So, as I mentioned, the father of the school library is Carl Casper Certain. Then, the first professionally trained librarian is Mary A. Kingsbury. So these are the two people you may know about the school library. So what are the school library management? There are 8 of them: students, circulation, staff and volunteers, computers, library stations, work areas, storage, and professional materials. So these are the important things to manage the school library, whether if it's a private or public school setting. So, what are the characteristics of a library personnel? There are 4 of them: professionals, paraprofessionals, non-professionals, and volunteers. So, professionals, these are qualified professionals who have passed the board exam. Paraprofessionals, those are not past the board exam or uh, taking their board exam. And the non-professionals, those are part-time. And of course, volunteers, those are people who are encouraged to work or offer help. So those are the characters of a library personnel. But the important thing of a library personnel in a school library, which is the school librarian. What is the school librarian, you may ask? The school librarian refers to the professionally qualified staff member responsible for planning and managing the school library. It has 2 roles: the teaching function and services or non-teaching functions. So the roles of the roles of the school librarian are 3 of them: library administrator, information specialist, and teacher and instructional specialist. Okay, so that's the description of the school librarian. Now, let's move on to the human resource of running a school library, or types of libraries in general. So the human resource requires for a 500 uh, 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 collection librarian is one full-time librarian and one support staff. The 1000 capacity librarian is one full-time head librarian, one full-time librarian, and two support staff. And the 2000 is one head librarian, two full-time librarians, and four support staff. So those are the human resource requirements that requires to run the four types of libraries, including the school libraries, as I mentioned. That is part of the topic. Next is the service programs of the school library. There are core activities: literacy and reading, media and information literacy, inquiry-based, technology integration, and professional development for teachers. All right. So there are two types under these services and programs: the Philippine organizations and associations. Those are CLAPI, PBBY, Kuting, Ang Inc., and Alitaptap. And that is under the umbrella in the Philippine organizations and associations. The international organizations and associations, that is across the world, those are IASL, ALSC, YALSA, AASL, and IBBY. So those are the services and programs under those two organizations, both here in the Philippines and here across the world. Now let's move on to the accrediting agencies in the Philippines. There are two of them: PAASCU, which is the Philippine Accrediting Association of Schools, Colleges, and Universities, that's PAASCU, and the PAUCOCOA, which is the Philippine Association of Colleges and Universities Commission on Accreditation, that is PAUCOCOA. So, as I mentioned, the two people who are experts in the school library profession, those are Carl Casper Certain and Mary A. Kingsbury. Before I end this, I will mention the general selection criteria that is essential for any type of library. Those are authority, appropriateness, scope, authenticity, treatment, arrangement and organization, instructional design, and special feature. Those are the ASTAFs for those are the selection criteria. And finally, the financial resources are the following: the adequate funds, library fee collection, fund administration, and staff development fund. So that's all for the fourth episode of Library in a Nutshell. And stay tuned for the second half, which is the public library. I will be mentioning it soon. So hope you learned something, and I'll see you soon.